Peace and love. Welcome back to tunjitalks, the home of I Have a Thirst. I am your host, Tunji. As you can see, we're doing something a little bit different today. I am here in Norbury Library for the book signing of my one-man show, Whiteboard, Black Pieces, Race in the West. To get your copy, click the Amazon link in the description down below. Before we get started, don't forget to like, share and subscribe and share this video. Order. Silence in the court. His Royal Highness is present. Proceed. Your Majesty, esteemed members of the court, as you're all aware, the People's Theatre Festival is coming up. The shows have been selected and the provisional schedule is set. Today, as I was looking through the program, I came across a show that gave me pause. I know of the show you speak. Can you really give an outsider a... He is not an outsider. He is a son of the soil. He is one of us. Yes, of course. Forgive my ignorance, Your Majesty. What I meant to say is this: yes, he is an outsider, but he's not accustomed to the way we do things in this land. What if he uses his platform to seduce the people in the ways of the red, white, and blue? Do not fret, Chancellor. Tell me, do you really think so little of our people? We will allow him to come. We will remind him that he is a citizen of the green, white, and green. If, and only if, he crosses the line, he will be dealt with accordingly. Good afternoon and welcome to Norbury Library for my Black History Month Author Talk. I am Tunji Joseph, a classically trained actor, director, producer, writer, podcaster, YouTuber, and currently training teacher. Before we get started, I'd like to thank Croydon Council, Croydon Libraries, Paulette Johnson and Lucy Lawrence, and the rest of their team for organising the Black History Month events at the libraries. And if you would like to support me, subscribe to my YouTube channel, tunjitalks. We are here today to primarily talk about the published version of my one-man play, Whiteboard, Black Pieces, Race in the West. And that can be quite a broad subject. What does it mean to be black in the Western world? So how was I able to fit an issue, a topic that spans hundreds of years in a 45-minute show? That is the conundrum, that is a big question. And the way I was able to do that was by finding a way to make it relevant to me and by rooting it. So the way I was able to root the show was through making the show part autobiography and part kind of creative license. So what do I mean by that? So autobiography in that this show kind of like some elements take part when I'm at drama school and the experiences I had at drama school and before that, and other parts of the show are made up. Like I just completely made those up and I had to find that. So how did I get the idea for the title of the show? Whiteboard, Black Pieces, Race in the West. So I had the idea of a chessboard, and I wanted to kind of relate that to the title. I didn't know how. And I thought, I need to have a kind of like catchy sort of title that will grab people's attention. And I think I was just in bed one day, thinking about the chessboard. I was like, oh, that's it. Whiteboard, Black Pieces, Race in the West. How, as a black person in the Western world, you have to navigate nimbly in the Western world. You have to play the game, as it were. And I think one of the beautiful things about the title is that when I say it, this usually happens. So I'll be like, oh, so I've written a book and done one-man play called Whiteboard, Black Pieces, Race in the West. And when I tell people, they're like, whoa. Rewind. Say that again. Whiteboard, Black Pieces, Race in the West. And I'm like, oh, cool. So what's it about? And that's the reaction I always have. And it's a great conversation starter because people always want to know more, they want to find out more. So how did I get the idea for the play? So at the time, I was at drama school doing my MA, my Masters. I went to Arts Ed. On the course, we did this module where we had to create characters from scratch. So what does that involve? So that involves kind of like all the behind the scenes work. So finding out what was your character like as a child, any kind of like critical incidents, then critical incidents. So doing all that work and the biomechanics work. So how's your character move? How's your character walk? How do they talk? What are their mannerisms? So we did that, and our big assessment was so Arts Ed's in Chiswick, so our big assessment was to go out in Chiswick as our characters, and we had to go out on dates with each other. And that was a crazy time. And when I tell agents about that story, they almost like break, they can't believe it. So we went on 2 dates, and so I was the only black person on my course. So on my second day, I remember we were in a cafe, had my back towards the door. I remember this brother, he walked in, really dapper, in a nice suit, lovely suit, and he must have ordered a coffee or something. And on his way out, I remember like he gave me this nod. And I was like, what is that nod about? I don't know if that nod was like, oh cool, I see you brother. See you in Chiswick, nice to see you. Or was it like, hey bro, getting on the team. Or why on a date for white girl? And being the only black person on my course, I didn't have anyone to debrief about this with. So I thought, I'm gonna make a note of this. And whenever I have free time, and that free time happened when I finished the course, whenever I have free time, I'm going to write about this. I'm going to put it into, I don't know, at the time it would be maybe a monologue, but I turned that into a show. And the show initially did it in Croydon, Matthews Yard, West End. Last year we went to Lagos for the Lagos Theatre Festival, had a blast out there, had a great time. And in fact, the reason the show is now a book is because of that experience in Lagos. So after the festival, we went around visiting some family friends, and a friend of a friend happened to own a school, and she was like, oh, you did a show, why not come to my school and talk to the kids about it, talk about the show, talk about your experience, your university, going to school, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, okay, yeah, thank you, I'll take you up on that. And I did a Q&A with it was an all-girls school, so I did a Q&A with the girls, and one of the girls asked me, so you've done the show, are you going to publish it? And at the time, I hadn't thought about that. My response was, maybe one day, but inside I was like, oh my God, what a great question, maybe I should do that. And before starting, so I'm currently doing a PGC, so before starting my PGC a few months ago, I was like, I think this is the right time to kind of like publish the play. So I did that, and school has been great. They've helped me publicise the play and whatnot, and students have read it, and I've told my students about it, so that's great. What else? So, in terms of books, I am working on another book. That is it's more of a journal, so it's more about my experience of being a teacher in training. I'm based in a school in Sutton, so that's a totally different experience, because I went to school in Croydon, so different demographics right there. If anyone subscribes to the channel, they'll know that I make movies as well. Have a new movie coming, probably next summer, but it's all written. That will be out soon. So, the segment I just performed, it's actually like a new segment. So if you saw the original show, you will know that I came in dancing to some Fela Kuti music. And for anyone who doesn't know, Fela Kuti he was a Nigerian musician and the creator of Afrobeat. So if you like Wizkid, if you like Tiwa Savage, if you like Burna Boy, all of them, they owe their sound to Fela. So in the original show, I was dancing to Fela. Then once I got accepted into the Lagos Theatre Festival, I had to sign a contract. And in the contract it said, if there's anything in your show that you do not own the rights to, and you bring it to us and you get sued, that's all on you. And I was like, great. I don't own the rights to the Fela Kuti music, so I'm going to have to cut that from my show. Then I got a little bit concerned because I was contracted to do a 45-minute show. And with that bit missing, the show was no longer 45 minutes. I thought, what am I going to do? So I messaged the LTF, the Lagos Theatre Festival, and they gave me an email and an address to, I think, the lawyers or the estate of the Fela Kuti people. So I sent off, so I was 2 weeks out. I thought, I'll send an email rather than write a letter, because, that would be more immediate. So I sent an email, I went downstairs, get a bottle of water, came back, and the email had bounced back. So I was like, great. I'm going to have to rewrite the kind of beginning of the show. And the bit I just performed, that is the new kind of like opening and beginning of the show. And the thing that inspired this was when I initially signed up to do the Lagos Theatre Festival, I had to do like online interviews over Zoom and whatnot. And I remember there was this one day where I had like the directors and producers and the executive producers like all interview me like, oh, why would I like to come to Lagos to be a part of the festival and whatnot. And I put forward a strong case. And I remember there was this one guy on the panel, and he was like, have you even been to Nigeria before? And the question itself isn't an issue, it was his tone. And I thought, his tone was rather insulting, and unbeknownst to him, I actually used to live in Lagos, Nigeria, because I used to go to school in Lagos, Nigeria. So I told him that. However, that feeling stuck with me, and I used that to influence and kind of craft the new beginning of the show. And in that, it's kind of like there's the debate between someone who's like, this guy from England, he can't come here, because he'll bring all his English sentimentality to us, and he'll try and corrupt us. Whereas the king the king in this scenario is like, no, we'll let the brother come home. Let him be welcomed by us, and we can start a dialogue. Why are we gonna cut off our brothers who live in the West? So that was the kind of back and forth in that opening scene. In the play, because it's 45 minutes, I can only touch on so many issues. And one of the things I didn't really touch on was kind of like colorism. And of course, for those of us know, colorism is racism's ugly sister. And I have a quote in the play that racism isn't dead and gone, that little turd is still alive and kicking. And I thought, that thought came back to mind, especially during the Euros final. I've been talking to some people about the Euros final recently, and I knew as soon as England got into the final, if England lost because the black players were responsible for England losing, that all the racists would come out of the woodwork, and we saw, and it's not funny, but it was kind of funny when people were coming out afterwards and being like, oh my God, I can't believe there's racism in England. My God, I thought we've come so far. Wow, I can't believe it. And I just find it funny, where are you living? What planet are you on? And I think it's important to have these discussions and keep them alive, because racism is a thing, and it should be brought to the forefront. And people should be made aware that it is a thing, and it's not dead and gone, it is still around. So I'll just bring this to an end. But before we do, I will be selling books afterwards, and books are £5. If you can't buy a book today, if you go to Amazon and type in Tunji Joseph or Whiteboard Black Pieces Race in the West, you'll be able to purchase a copy of the book. If you would like to write down more details or leave any comments whatsoever, I have a book on the table and you can just leave your thoughts or comments in the book. You can follow me on social media at tunji_storytime and you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, Tunji Talks. If you like my number or email, just come to me afterwards and we can do that. And lastly, thank you for coming, because without you, without your energy, this event would not be happening. So yes, thank you, take care, and get home safe. And that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe and leave a comment down below. I'll leave you in the same way I came to you, in peace and love. See you soon.